October 28, 2025, Jamaica was hit with a Category 5 monster called Hurricane Melissa. $8.8 billion in damage. 116,000 structures destroyed. 5 parishes took the worst hit. But here's the question, which parish is going to rise the strongest from the ashes? Today, we're ranking all 5 devastated parishes from their unique challenges to their innovative rebuild strategies. Some are bouncing back faster. Others are building smarter. One might surprise you. First, let's understand what these 5 parishes faced. Hurricane Melissa wasn't just powerful, it was historic. The third most intense Atlantic hurricane ever recorded. Scientists measured a wind gust of 252 miles per hour, the highest ever recorded in a tropical cyclone. When Melissa made landfall near New Hope in Westmoreland, it carved a devastating path across Jamaica's western region. 5 parishes, St. Elizabeth, St. James, Westmoreland, Hanover, and Trelawny bore the catastrophic brunt. The 3 hardest hit parishes alone, St. Elizabeth, St. James, and Westmoreland, sustained $5.5 billion in damage. That's 63% of Jamaica's total $8.8 billion hurricane damage. But each parish has a different story, different challenges, different recovery speeds, different innovations. So let's rank them from number 5 to number 1 based on damage severity, recovery innovation, and resilience strategies. Number 5, Hanover, the communication blackout parish. Now, Hanover suffered devastating damage. The entire parish lost all communication when Melissa hit. No phones, no internet, no way to call for help or assess damage. The Knoll Homes Hospital had departments damaged, including the maternity ward. Tourism infrastructure critical to Hanover's economy took major hits. Craft vendors, hotel workers, housekeepers all left without income as tourists vanished. But here's why Hanover ranks at number 5. Compared to its neighboring parishes, the damage was less catastrophic. Communications have been restored. The Jamaica Hotel and Tourist Association is working overtime to get tourism back online before the December 15th peak season. Hanover is recovering, but it's playing catch-up compared to the others on this list. Hospital departments are being repaired with priority on maternity services. Tourism sector mobilizing $1 billion fund to support affected workers. Communication infrastructure being upgraded for better hurricane resilience. The challenge is that Hanover's economy depends heavily on tourism, and with the sector disrupted, recovery for ordinary workers will take time. Number 4, Trelawny, the divided parish. Trelawny is literally a tale of 2 parishes. Northern Trelawny, home to the resort town of Falmouth and a major tourism hub, got priority recovery treatment. The National Works Agency cleared over 90% of northern roads within days. Tourism Minister Edmund Bartlett emphasized, North Trelawny contributes significantly to the country's GDP. If we're going to recover stronger, North Trelawny has to recover faster. But Southern Trelawny? That's a different story. Southern Trelawny is a significant agriculture hub, especially for export of yellow yam and other vegetables. Those farms? Destroyed. And nearly a week after the hurricane, residents said they'd seen 0 aid workers. The municipal corporation building in Falmouth, nearly 170 years old, was so severely damaged that it can no longer operate. The government is now constructing an entirely new administrative building on different land. The Trelawny Infirmary had to be relocated to temporary housing. The historic courthouse, infirmary, and road and works department in Falmouth was destroyed. A new municipal corporation building is being constructed on better located land. Approximately 32 farmers received insurance payouts through the Grace Kennedy Weather Protection Program. Northern Tourism Corridor is being prioritized for December recovery. The government is reviewing and relocating vulnerable infrastructure like infirmaries. The challenge is the stark divide between northern and southern Trelawny means unequal recovery. Tourism areas are bouncing back fast, but agricultural communities feel abandoned. It ranks number 4 because Trelawny has innovation happening: new buildings, better locations, insurance systems working. But the unequal recovery and agricultural devastation hold it back from a higher ranking. Number 3. Street, James the Mud Mountain Parish. Let me give you a number that's hard to comprehend. 150,000 tons of mud was deposited across St. James. That's not a typo. Hurricane Melissa literally buried parts of Montego Bay under mountains of mud and debris. The cleanup operation has been massive. In just 22 days, crews cleared over 1,600 truckloads of debris. Roads were blocked, communities marooned. The Seven Rivers area became a major flash flood point that kept communities cut off even after the storm passed. But here's why St. James ranks at number 3, speed and scale of response. As a major tourism hub and economic center, it received immediate attention. The National Works Agency prioritized road clearance. Private sector companies mobilized equipment. International aid flowed in faster. The government allocated $10 million per constituency to the hardest hit areas. St. James got that priority funding along with St. Elizabeth, Westmoreland, Hanover, Trelawny, and Manchester. Gas stations destroyed? The government is deploying mobile gas stations to affected areas. Tourism infrastructure damaged? Major hotel chains are racing to reopen by December 15th, and many will make it. They cleared 1,600 plus truckloads of debris in under a month in unprecedented speed. Mobile gas stations are being deployed to maintain fuel access. Major hotel chains are investing in rapid repairs with resilient building standards. There is a $1 billion private sector tourism fund that is supporting affected workers. They are prioritizing road infrastructure repairs to connect marooned communities. The challenge is that St. James has resources and attention, but the sheer volume of damage, 150,000 tons of mud, means full recovery will take years. Why it ranks number 3, St. James has the resources, the speed, and the economic incentive to rebuild fast. Tourism money is pouring in. But it's still playing catch up to our top 2 parishes in terms of transformational rebuild strategies. Number 2, Westmoreland, the ground zero comeback. This is where Hurricane Melissa made landfall, between the towns of Belmont and New Hope, at 1 p.m. on October 28, with 185 miles per hour winds. The devastation? Apocalyptic. In White House, a tiny town where the strongest part of Melissa passed, not a single wooden house survived. NPR reporter Ida Peralta visited and described it as looking like a tornado had ripped through. Mature trees snapped in half. Walls and roofs scattered like a deck of cards. At least 9 people died in Westmoreland. Thousands of families left homeless. Betheltown resident Peter Williams, a 67-year-old retired farmer, described it as a bomb site. There's standing buildings but no roofs. Seaford Town, home to a German minority in Jamaica, saw all public buildings destroyed. So why does Westmoreland rank at number 2? Because this parish is building back with a vengeance. Tenisha Frackinson lived in White House and her concrete-roofed house survived when everything around her was destroyed. She told NPR, "The general conversation is that everybody's going to deck. Deck means concrete and steel roofs instead of wood. This isn't just talk, it's happening. Residents across Westmoreland are refusing to rebuild the same way. Even though concrete is expensive, even though many were renting, they're finding ways to build resilient structures." The government recognized this momentum. Prime Minister Andrew Holness visited Westmoreland and declared, "We can vision a future of it rising stronger and better." Many of the buildings were not properly located in the first place. There is a mass shift from wooden to concrete construction. There is a land regularization program prioritizing Westmoreland, so informal residents can get proper permits and insurance. Government is reviewing vulnerable building locations and helping residents relocate to safer areas. World Central Kitchen served over 1 million hot meals across Western Jamaica, with major focus on Westmoreland. International aid is prioritizing ground zero communities. Community-led reconstruction with Ripton Group and Alcor deployed 70-plus workers to rebuild homes from the ground up in Parishes community. The challenge: Westmoreland was hit first and hit hardest. The scale of destruction means recovery is slower than places with less damage, but the innovative approaches are transformational. Why it ranks number 2, Westmoreland is the phoenix rising from the ashes. Community-driven innovation, government support, mass adoption of resilient building practices. It's not recovering, it's transforming. So why isn't it number 1? Because one parish is taking rebuild innovation to another level entirely. Number 1, St. Elizabeth, the Blueprint Parish. At first glance, you might wonder why St. Elizabeth ranks number 1. The damage here was catastrophic. Black River, the parish capital, saw 76% of buildings damaged. 80 to 90% of roofs just gone. The fire station, submerged under 16 feet of water. The police station, hospital, courthouse, colonial-era buildings leveled. NASA satellite images show the entire landscape turned brown. St. Elizabeth sustained nearly $1 billion in residential damage, $390 million in non-residential damage, $764 million in infrastructure damage, and $136 million in agricultural losses. The total is approximately $2.3 billion for one parish. This is Jamaica's breadbasket. Over 41,000 hectares of farmland destroyed. More than 70,000 farmers affected. 1.25 million animals lost. At least 8 confirmed deaths. So why is St. Elizabeth number 1? Because St. Elizabeth isn't just rebuilding. It's becoming the model for how Caribbean nations must adapt to climate change. St. Elizabeth feeds Jamaica. After Melissa, the World Food Programme said every crop that was on the path has been damaged. This isn't just an economic crisis, it's a food security crisis for the entire nation. But here's what's happening. The government and World Food Programme are working with 70,000 plus affected farmers to implement climate-smart agriculture. Drought-resistant crops, better irrigation systems, elevated storage facilities. This isn't just recovery, it's transformation. Small-scale farmers are getting Grace Kennedy insurance payouts. The government is prioritizing land regularization so farmers can get proper permits and access to resources. St. Elizabeth Technical High School suffered massive damage. Nearly 1,700 students displaced. But Principal Keith Wellington got students back in class within weeks, and here's the genius part. Students are using cement as part of their classwork to rebuild their own school. They're literally learning construction skills while building climate-resilient structures. Learning by doing, building their future. Carib Cement is donating tons of cement to help schools and families rebuild with concrete instead of wood. The government isn't just fixing what broke, they're relocating vulnerable infrastructure. Remember that hospital with the roof blown off? It's being rebuilt to modern hurricane-resistant standards. Black River's historic buildings are being reconstructed with a mix of heritage preservation and modern engineering. The town is literally being redesigned for a Category 5 hurricane. Private companies like Ripton Group deployed workers to rebuild entire communities from scratch. They are also installing solar street lights, providing bathroom facilities, transforming neighborhoods. Juliet Chambers, a visually impaired mother of 7 whose home was destroyed in Dittingent, told reporters, "We are building a concrete structure so that when the hurricane season comes around, we are okay." That spirit multiplied across thousands of families and is changing St. Elizabeth's entire building culture. The World Bank calculated that for every dollar spent on resilient construction in Jamaica, the country saves $6 in future disaster costs. St. Elizabeth is becoming the testing ground for these policies, new building codes requiring concrete and steel in hurricane zones. Elevated construction in flood-prone areas. Land reform giving informal residents legal ownership. Insurance incentives for climate-resilient building. Roy T. Anderson is creating a documentary series called Beyond the Eye, Jamaica Rebuilds, with major focus on St. Elizabeth. This ensures transparency, accountability, and that the world can learn from what's happening. Yes, the damage was catastrophic. Yes, recovery will take years. But St. Elizabeth is doing something unprecedented. It's becoming the blueprint for how island nations must adapt to climate change. This isn't just Jamaica's rebuild, it's the Caribbean's wake-up call. It's showing the world that you can prepare, adapt, and build back stronger even against Category 5 hurricanes. St. Elizabeth's innovations, from agricultural transformation to student-led reconstruction to infrastructure relocation, are being studied by disaster planners across the Caribbean. When the next major hurricane hits, and it will, other islands will look to St. Elizabeth's model. But here's the truth: all 5 parishes are rebuilding stronger. They're learning from each other. They're adopting innovations. They're refusing to rebuild the same way. Jamaica didn't ask for the strongest hurricane in its recorded history, but the western parishes are showing the world how to face a Category 5 future. The World Bank and Inter-American Development Bank estimate total damage at $8.8 billion, equivalent to 41% of Jamaica's entire GDP. The recovery will require years, not months. But Jamaica was more prepared than most. $150 million catastrophe bond that paid out in full. $91 million from Caribbean Insurance Facility. $6.1 billion pledged by international lenders over 3 years. Fiscal discipline and disaster planning that saved lives. But from the rubble, something incredible is emerging. St. Elizabeth is building the blueprint. Westmoreland is leading community resilience. St. James is mobilizing resources at unprecedented speed. Trelawny is relocating vulnerable infrastructure. Hanover is restoring its tourism backbone. These 5 parishes are showing the world that preparation saves lives, smart recovery builds futures, and the human spirit is unstoppable. Because when a Category 5 hurricane hits, you can do one of 2 things: rebuild exactly the same or rebuild stronger. Jamaica's western parishes chose stronger. And that's a lesson the entire world needs to learn.